Welcome back, everyone, as Tully's Good Times proudly presents the 2013 Greater Syracuse Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. All right, our second inductee for 2013, Greg Tearney. You could say that garbage has a special meaning for Greg Tearney. A product of Syracuse's 15th Ward, Greg starred athletically at Nottingham High School, class of '59, attended SU, and was employed a few years at New Process Gear. Also a self-professed street fighter following his scholastic years, Greg worked on a garbage truck when he came upon a karate magazine mentioning a dojo in Syracuse. He went and saw Gary Hall practicing martial arts movements, or katas. Greg was hooked. "Karate saved my life," he said of his sport. Tearney has been Mr. Martial Arts in our town for more than 40 years, operating a dojo, a karate school, since 1969.
Well, I think he set the standard. I think from the very beginning, he wanted to bring a very traditional, very disciplined style of martial arts to the area. He never wanted to succumb to the fashions and fads of the sport, and he didn't.
Renowned for instruction of thousands of all ages in martial arts, Greg was also an accomplished competitor who fought in the black belt heavyweight division in the 60s and 70s, earned 3 10th-degree black belts, and achieved the rank of Grand Master of Okinawan-style karate. Sam Roberts, a black belt, has known Tearney since 1972.
Great, he was smooth. He had a nice style about him. He fought this guy named Eddie Monster Man Everett was his name, and this guy was something. He was one of the top fighters in the world, and Greg brought him down a few notches.
Dick McPherson calls Greg his good friend. Tearney taught a 6-week course to coach Mac's players and has autographed footballs in appreciation. Here's Greg and wife Judy with famed martial artist Chuck Norris. Green and Hoops scrappy Mike Hopkins are among Greg's best-known students. Green's guru was former SU strength and conditioning coach Mike Wojcik.
When I added martial arts to my training regimen as an NFL player, Mike Wojcik said, "There's only one place you should be." And I said, "Where's that?" And he said, "You got to be with Greg Tearney." But probably the thing that I remember the most was the first time Greg hit me. And it wasn't even a full punch. He just gave me this shot, and that was it. I said, "We're not going to spar anymore, Greg."
Hop had an interest in martial arts.
And it just has focus and respect all over it, and that's the way he ran his dojo. And I remember a time, he was talking about his wife, how good of a martial artist she is, and he wanted me to spar with her. And I remember getting up there, and you're new, I'm an athlete, here's this girl, and next thing you know, she's putting her foot right here, control, listen, I could really decapitate you right now, but I won't because my husband told me not to.
Greg and Judy operate Tearney's Karate and Kickboxing. More than 400 students are taught the importance of respect, discipline, and character. Their first tournament and kickathon raised $5,000 for the Baldwin Cancer Foundation. In 2011, he was honored locally as the NAACP Small Businessman of the Year. A grand champion in the U.S. and Canada, Greg serves as president of the International Alliance. He was a Karate Hall of Fame inductee 30 years ago. Now, Hanshi Greg Tearney becomes the first in his sport inducted into the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Tearney.
First of all, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and all honor to God, for giving me the blessings that I have had throughout my life. I want to thank the Board of Directors for honoring not only me, but martial arts. Thank Bob Snyder for doing such a great job. Let's give him a round of applause. What a great job he did. Bill Motto, Louis Aiello, the board members that I have come in contact with, I can't say enough about them, just great people. A man, you guys know him as Manny Breland, I know him as Booby. We go way back. I'm not sure if anybody knows this, but one of the board members approached me with a record, and he said, "Greg, I have something that I think you might be interested in." And I said, "What is that?" He said, "Well, I've got a recording of your first doo-wop group's song that was sung. It was Schoolboy's Love." I said, "You're kidding me." He says, "No, here it is." So in my display, along with Chuck Norris, we're going to have Greg Tearney and the Emeralds. When I think of Booby, I think of the Grand Street Boys and the basketball times that we had. Jerry Wilcox and some of the other basketball players will remember that I was not fond of passing the ball. One of my favorite expressions on the basketball court was when they were hollering, "Greg, pass me the ball, pass me the ball." And I would be in this position saying, "Let's go back and play some defense." My biggest honor, of course, was to be introduced to martial arts. I approached my instructor and asked him what it was like and how we could practice the fighting arts without making full contact. And he came around from behind the desk and demonstrated a punch that came about 1 inch from my chest and literally took my breath away. When I saw Gary Hall practicing his katas or his forms, that blew me away. I was scared to death, ready to even melt into the wall. He walked over to me and outstretched his hand and says, "Hi, my name is Gary Hall. How can I help you?" That did it. I said, I want to be just like that. I went on to open my first dojo. I'm honored tonight to have my first landlord here, Mr. John Pascarella, who not only, there he is, let's give Johnny a hand. He doesn't realize what an impact he had on my life, but I've been in business now for many, many years, and we've been fairly successful, and a lot of it I can attribute back to John. I was talking earlier this evening with Tommy Nyland Jr., Tom Nyland Sr. and I were very good friends, and he helped me put on my tournament at Lemoyne College. My basketball coach was Mike Stark. I see Peter Palem here tonight. Now, we went to high school together, class of '59. Chris Gedney was one of my students when we were teaching the SU football team. A couple of my students who were world champions, Esteban Trotman, Randy Lawrence are here. Yes. My beautiful daughter, Alexis, and my lovely wife, Judy, are the background of what we do today. I have several students here, including my staff, Will Clark and Ryan Barone, who make it all come together. The greatest reward for me is when I see people randomly, and this happens all the time, they come up and they tell me what a wonderful experience it was to have their kids come through our program. They're all grown up now and they're experiencing great success. And that, to me, has been my legacy, and that's what kind of makes my world go round. I was fortunate enough to have trained under some of the best people in the world. My first instructor was Peter Masacchio from Canastota, and then from there I went to Frank Van Lenten, who was a Grandmaster. My next instructor was Grandmaster Peter Urban. These are all first-generation martial artists from Japan and Okinawa. They both promoted me to 10th degree black belt. I also have a 10th degree black belt in mixed martial arts. But my traditional martial arts training has been the key to my success and to the things that I have done throughout the years. I've been blessed with some great mentors, Coach Mack, who was also the coach for the SU football team. Not only did he give me an opportunity to teach the football team, but he gave me great wisdom. Nick Kokinos from Bethesda, Maryland, who was the head of Educational Funding Company. Mike Metzger, Tim Green, Mike Hopkins, just to name a few. I also have some of my original training buddies here. We were known as the Four Horsemen of Syracuse, great fighters. Wes Yeager, who's here tonight, Sandy Tucci, and Oliver Cole. We were the first black belts to be promoted in Syracuse. My wife was the person who made me who I am. And I'm so happy and proud to have her in my life, not only as my best friend, my partner in business, the mother of my child, all of my family. My daughter Yvette's here. We have such a strong legacy that I want to continue to help grow, because the things that we do affect people for the rest of their lives. I've got people that are professionals, that are in business for themselves, successful on many, many levels. And like I said, when people come up to me and tell me that this is the greatest thing they've ever done for their child, it really gives me a sense of satisfaction that I can't compare to anything else that I've done. I want to thank the committee and the board of directors, this wonderful group of people that I'm inducted with. It's an honor and a pleasure. And I can't say enough for the support that I have received, and I feel honored not only to be inducted into the Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame, but also to introduce martial arts, and I'm hoping that we'll have others who will follow along and be honored in that category. Some of my best friends who have helped me along the way include people like Ray Rinaldi, who I'm trying to teach to kick, but he's relenting, he's resisting me on that, along with some of the other people that have been instrumental in helping me become successful. A lot of my students have gone on to do great things, and I could not be more proud to be honored in this great organization and to do so as a martial artist. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Congratulations, Greg. With each passing year, the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame becomes even greater. We invite you to visit the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame at Burdick's Drivers Village in North Syracuse. You can also visit our website, syracusehalloffame.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued support of the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame and for sharing in our celebration. For all of us at Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, thank you for joining us, and so long for now.
There's a place for all our heroes. It's called the